Hey everyone, looks like we are live. This is so exciting. I'm so glad that everyone made it to another Wednesday. I'm so glad that, you guys and girls decided to take some time out of your busy week to hang out with little old me. And just want to thank God for the ability to do this live stream, to have the technology, to share my art with you all, and thank God for you guys and how amazing you all are and your support and your friendship. I just want to make sure that you all know that I value you a lot, because without you, there's no live stream. So let's see who's here today. Astro, all the way from the UK. How are you? Dan, all the way from Indianapolis. Great to see you. JC, all the way from the Atlanta area. Color Graphics, all the way from New Jersey. Great to see you. We have Patty from Illinois. How's it going, Raul, fellow Jersey guy? And we have, let's see, anybody else? Colette, all the way from Wisconsin. So glad you're here. And Dwayne, San Luis de Obispo. Go Mustangs, not banana slugs. How is everyone doing today? I'm so glad you guys are here. This is part 3, which is exciting. Look what I did. This is great, guys. I actually cleaned up my studio area. This is the metal piece right here, and I had to use like some 4012, some ammonia to really get this up. And I'm trying to be more organized. As you know, I'm very unorganized. So this is something I'm working on. So I kind of donated a good 2 or 3 hours to that today. It was unbelievable. So I'm so glad everyone is hanging today. Thank you so much. And so, how's everyone doing out there? I'd love to hear what are some of the projects that you're working on. Just a quick question. Let me know what you all think. I can do something here which is interesting. Moderate timestamps. Where can I? There's something that I can do here. Let's see. Nope, nothing there. Welcome to live chat. Remember, oh, okay, that's everything. Sometimes I can do which is really good, I can do a poll. So let's see if we can do a poll. And how about this? Nope, let's get rid of the poll. Let's do something else here. This is going to be good. Let's see. Answer viewer questions live. Okay, here's one question. What is your favorite color to paint with and why? And we're going to go over the answers. So if I spelled it wrong, I'm sorry. So here it is, the question. So that's cool. And we'll just go back to live chat. Okay, great. So love to hear what you guys are thinking. Mr. Bobby, how's it going from Cape Cod? Great to see you. How's it going? So today, Raul says super clean works the best of cleaning old paint. Oh, super clean. Now, what exactly is that, Raul? When you get a chance, could you send me a link to that? Because if that works, which I know if it works for you, it'll work for me. I'm definitely interested, my friend. So good thing you weren't late at all, because nothing really started yet, my friend. I actually got everything all situated, and I have my wet palette here, have my painting. As you can see, I was just kind of roughing in the leather jacket of our young lady here. I kind of worked on the bag and a little bit on the dress, kind of assimilating both the top part and the bottom part. So that is really cool. And let's see. Astral says, black is my first Great. Interesting. Now, what are the reasons why black? But getting your values first? I'd love to hear your thoughts, Astral, on that. Um, so, I'm thinking today we're going to try and work on some of the background at first, and then maybe we can come in and get a little brave with the hand and the face. I think that would be good. Kind of working our way into it. But I did work on the, notice just how rough I am. I just was getting the values and the colors correct with and just being very rough, not worrying about being neat, just getting very rough, the light and darks patterns. So that's very important. Now, Dan, you're out there. The print I sent you, please be careful because it's glass when you open it. Just be very careful opening it, Dan. I don't want you to get cut in case it breaks. I put a lot of bubble wrap on it, but you never know. So please be careful opening that. So that should arrive tomorrow, if not today. And also Michael McGlung, if we see him, let him know that he doesn't have glass in his, but he does have a panel that's pointy, and he could kind of hurt himself with that. So always, whenever you get anything from me, please open with care and slow, because usually there's glass or something pointy in there or something like that. Astral says all spick and span. So true. Look at that. It's like, who am I, right? I'm the messy artist over here. So that's pretty cool. So, right now we have 11 concurrent viewers. That's really fantastic. And so I'm going to go to the Q&A. Maybe, let me see if I could enlarge it. Nope, I guess it goes in the regular question. It actually goes in the regular comments as far as, what your favorite color is and with the paint width and why. So that's good. All right, so what I'm going to do is, so I do a line drawing, and with that line drawing, I make these stencils. Those of you who have taken my course, just how that works and everything. It's a very good technique, and it's very helpful. And I'm going to look for my glasses. See, everything's so neat. I don't know where my glasses, oh, there they are. Oh, works great in an airbrush as well. That's fantastic. Thanks, Raul. I definitely am intrigued now. You have my attention. What do you all think of here in the States and also in Europe? What do you think of the warm weather? Are you all warm weather people? I'm a cold weather person. I know I'm kind of weird in that way. Okay, so great. So I'm going to put this is my stencil, and I could get rid of me for a while. There we go. And I'm just going to take my stencil, and I'm going to cover our young lady up, or protect her. That sounds better than cover up. Let's see. So we'll protect our model here. Basically, we're really just worried about overspray. It's good to be overspray paranoid. Now, one of the things that I really think is really nice is I'm keeping my magnets off to the side on a metal sheet on my board, but on the metal panel that I'm working on, I don't keep the magnets on there. I only put them on there when I need them, and then I take them off this panel when I don't. And I think that's going to keep everything cleaner and neater and, not have all these obstructions. And still cold out right now. Got the heat on. Wow, that's amazing. I definitely would enjoy that. That's for sure. Here in the United States, on the East Coast, just outside of NYC, we are at 55 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to go ahead and start working on her seat area. We'll work on that, and then we'll work on other areas. So we'll concentrate on here, some of the changes, and we're going to do airbrush mostly tonight. I did some paintbrush earlier today, but I do have my wet palette out in case I need to come in and maybe do some edging or something. Patty says she likes the warm but not humidity, definitely. Raoul says, oh, works great. Astral says his son is sitting in his Zen garden right now. He moved into this new house, absolutely beautiful. That must be really peaceful, a Zen garden. Wow, that's cool. So, not having my magnets, as you can see, I have a lot more room to play with. The magnets aren't impeding my movements. So, keep your magnets away from your work area when you're not using them. That really has been a plus today. I just started doing that today. Wow, that does sound nice, right, Patty? Definitely. Okay, so I cleaned my airbrushes before. I did work on them earlier today, work with them earlier today. I'm going to start off with the the Customized Extreme Patriot 105. It's basically the arrow, but with a larger brush, because I'm going to be working in a larger area today, and so that's going to be pretty cool. Now, let's see. So, I'm going to go to my file here, open this up, and then we'll start with our first color. Let's see. We'll go open. Let's see, file, recent, and there we go. Okay, great. So what we do when, hey, Mr. JC, glad you're back, sir. So glad you're here. So when I'm going to be painting, I am going to always go for the lightest color. Mr. Dwayne, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. And, you know, thank you for your expertise and all the great tips that you give us, and we're all richer for that. And I just want to say thank you for that, my friend. Thank you for your friendship and definitely for the support. That is such a great help. I appreciate you, sir. So, Mr. Brad, how you doing, Bradley Smith? How's everything going, sir? So glad you're here. Now, Brad, where are you from? I believe you're from, I want to say Maryland, but I don't know if I'm correct. Dwayne's been busy last couple of weeks. Good to be back. Great to have you back, sir. Thank you so much. And hey, you know, money comes first, that's for sure. So I definitely understand. And oh, Arkansas, that's right. Yes, so next week, if you're here, I should be okay with Arkansas. So that's cool. All right, so now we're going to mix that color. And let's see, we are going to, okay, we are in good shape. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually mix the light, the dark, and the light, the medium, and the dark. But I'm going to get that information right now and go right here. Let's see what we have. Maybe just a little bit darker here. Okay, so we're going to go with our first color. So let me mix that. And let's see. So it'll just be 2 shakes of a lamb's tail or something like that. And Astral says, Colette, yes, he has done well. Oh, that's so cool. so glad your son's doing well, my friend. And go ahead and put this in here. And so, you know, you always got to know the percentages. Percentages, you can find the elements of a color, but the percentages are key, right? That's like super key. Okay, so now, one of the colors I've been falling in love with is magenta. Literally falling in love with magenta. I love cobalt teal, right? You know, your blue-green color. But cobalt teal and magenta, two colors that I'm absolutely enamored with. So we're going to be using magenta for this. So since I came back into color, I was away to color for a long time, but when I came back into color, I came back just totally falling in love with it. And just like falling in love with it more than I ever have been. And I'm coming out with my new color theory course coming out, which is going to be just amazing, you know, the way that it will work. So I'm going to 4011 it because I am putting some of the wicked, and I'm mixing the wicked with the illustration. So let's see. So let me get some of my 4011 here. Your friend and mine, 4011. And I'm going to do maybe a 2-to-1 ratio because I don't want it too thin, right? I don't want to go overboard. And I think I got my color, so that was pretty fast, right guys? Doesn't always happen that fast, but it happens that fast a lot with my color theory. Okay, so here we go. And let's go ahead and put the magnets close, right? You got to put the magnets close, which is important. And so right here, I have a little bit of a dilemma. So a lot of times when you're painting, sometimes your stencil that you had no longer fits. But that doesn't let you off the hook. This will work. Okay, so now I'm working on the light side of this. Remember, you always want to go light, and you always want to have high chroma, meaning more saturation in your lights. And we're not talking highlights, but your lights, right? And you want to have a high chroma because you can always dull it. But if you have a dull color, it's going to be much more difficult for you to put more saturation. And if you have a dark color, it's going to be much more difficult for you to lighten it. So I hope that helps you in the future. This is a super light color, but that's okay. We're setting up. And let me put this so I can see what you all are seeing. Okay, so I can see my reference, see what you all are seeing. Now here you see it got a little too wet, so we're just going to let that sit. We don't want to put anything on there. So I'm thinking, since it got too wet like that, let's put a little bit of 4050 in there. I love 4050. Mr. Dwayne loves 4050. And let's see. Learned so much about Wicked with Mr. Dwayne. Let's put one drop, maybe 1.5 drops in there. And oh, I can sure, definitely. It is, it must definitely be a little bit scary having your son so far away, especially with the climate of international things going on, wars and all that. But I'm praying God's going to be with your son and he's going to be great. And you know, you'll see him soon. Okay, so let's spray out some of the non-450 in there. So it got too wet, so what you can do is you can lower your air pressure a little bit. And you see how it kind of set, even though it was beating up. I let it dry and let it set. If I kept painting on that, it would have really been a weird surface. So be careful. Now I'm going lighter over most of it because I'm going to go darker. But I have to make sure I don't lose my drawing, right? Because that's not going to be any good, losing the drawing. And this purple color comes up here. Let me get my pencil out. And let's see, she right up to here. And then right up to here. There we go. And also I'm increasing my distance because I don't want it to beat up. The 40-50 helped, but it doesn't mean that it's perfect. Okay, I think we're okay just for applying this here. And alright, that looks okay. And Rome wasn't built in a day, it's just the first pass. And let's see if we have more purple down here. We do. So if anyone wants to know, I work with a program called Wicked. Oh, I should try some Wicked transparent base. Oh, that's great. What's the number of that, my friend? I'm sure I have some. Let me go check it out, Mr. Dwayne. I'm sure I do have some transparent base. Let's see. We have move this back over a little bit. I don't see the transparent base. Let me check here. I have balancing clear, I have 40-20, but I don't have transparent base. But I gotta get some, so definitely that's on my wish list, my friend. Astral says, wonderful people, the Romans, salt of the earth. Oh, 4004. Do I have 4004? No, I don't think so. I'm going to check my stash right here. Great advice, sir. I appreciate that. Maybe it's in this this shipment here. Let's see. We have don't think I have it, but that's definitely going to be on my to-do list, is get some of that 4004. So that's great. Thank you for that, sir. Hey, Mr. Michael, how are you, my friend? Messy art is real art. That is so true. It's great to see you, Mike, all the way from California. How's everything? I'm so glad you're here. So, Angela says, hi, Angela, how's it going? Angela says phthalo is her favorite blue to paint with. Oh, that, Angela, phthalo blue will take over the planet. It's such a strong color. It is so powerful, right? And I think that's why you like it. It's a very powerful color. And Dwayne says that it works good, more wicked colors, more transparent, also as a candy dye blocker. Very interesting. Now, would it be with my candies? No, I don't think I have any of that. But definitely I'll look into that. Phthalo blue, yes. Phthalo blue is really powerful. That's cool. And just kind of hitting this light lavender. So you know I'm just going to make sure that the surface doesn't get too wet, right? A little bit of that purple here. And this is the early going, so you're really just taking it super slow. You're not getting, overly, uh, this has to work out perfectly kind of thing. Just kind of chilling. Chilling, taking it easy, no pressure. And it's a nice light lavender. Then we're going to go in with the mid-tones. I'm going to keep the lavender. Okay, what I'm finding out is when we're working on three-dimensional forms, I'm thinking the best way to work, and I would love to hear your thoughts out there, would be a three airbrush method where you have three airbrushes going. And hey, Mr. Brad Mummery, all the way from Manitoba, great to see you, my friend. Three airbrushes going, so whatever you're working on, you have the light, middle, and dark, so you can kind of, turn the forms and work the light into, work the medium into the light and the dark into the medium and kind of make things turn and really go in together. Oh, Dwayne says only three. Haha, that's funny, right? Dwayne, how many brushes you usually use at one time? Because, Dwayne is a professional. He does it for a living, so get some great info from him. That's funny. Okay, so now we have this value, and so it's pretty much done. And I'm kind of setting up for the next value. And why don't I bring in the reference photo so you all can see what I'm doing, right? I mean, so let me go ahead and do that. It's just going to take a moment. And let's see. So I'm going to go plus. I'm going to go to image. And here she is. So here's our reference photo, as you can see. So you all can see, what's my thought process and all of that, which is cool. And Dwayne says he usually has at least going, sometimes 10. Oh man, that's so cool. Bradley says Dwayne, he was trying out some wicked candy colors and he was trying to put opaque white over it and the candy color keeps changing the white. Yeah, so I have an answer, but Dwayne's answer is probably going to be better. So let's hear Dwayne's answer first, because he has a lot of experience with that stuff. Okay, so now you see I have the light purple, so we're going to go in with the darker purple. But I'm going to keep that light lavender color, but I don't want to keep it. I'm going to put it aside. Going to put it over here, and this way it's not in the way. So I'm going to mix that color. I'm not just going to make a darker version of that lavender because I want to mix it to make sure. And Patty says she doesn't want to go, but she has to sign off, get some shut-eye. Oh, thank you, Patty. I appreciate it. Hope you have a great evening. It's so cool you got the color wheel. Always keep that where you can find it, You need to have it so you can grab it. I'm going to do something where I'm going to tie it on a string. Right now I'm keeping it in the drawer by my studio, by my work area, but I still misplace it from time to time. And, oh, so cool. JC says, night, Patty. So, Patty, take care. Mike S says you need to put some bleed checker over the candy. Looks into that. That's cool. Thanks, Mike. Great to see you. All the way from Ohio. How are you, sir? Dwayne says 4004 will work as a bleed checker. That's so cool. So 4004 is the theme tonight, right? That's great. And so everyone's saying goodnight to Patty. Patty's so cool, super cool. All right, so now we got to go with this darker color right here, right? So we're going with the mid-tone, not the dark, right? So we're going, it's always better to go higher saturation, light, medium, and dark, right? Because you can't go the other direction as effectively. You don't want to go dark to light. And so that's pretty cool. So very cool. Okay, so now I'm going to go with my color method, and we're going to see how long it takes me to get our mid-tone. Let's see. I think this is our mid-tone. Okay, so now we identified the color. Now we put the color in, and then we find what the actual color is, what's making it up. Okay, this is a highly saturated color, very highly saturated color. So, but we want to make sure we get the value right. Value is very important. So let me get a cup. So I have my cups here. Look at this. I'm just like super, how do you say? I'm just like super organized today. I don't know what's going on. Full moon maybe or something. Okay, so the first thing is I have to find this color, right? It's a combination of two. So I have my magenta. You all know how much I love magenta. And then we're going to mix it with some violet. Also kind of falling in love with violet too. So, okay. First we have to mix that color. So it's leaning a little bit more towards the violet. And these are Wicked paints that I basically did a 1 to 3 with 4011. So I'm going to do mostly, now this is another thing to consider. Remember, very important, always remember that your stronger colors are going to be more dominant. So if you say it's kind of half this and half that color, that's not the whole story, because the violet is much more powerful than magenta. So you have to take that in consideration, right? Now I'm going to go ahead and just put a tad, like what's a tad? Just a little bit of 4011 in here, because I already have it kind of thinned out already, right? So I know I put out some 4011. Maybe I put it back. If I put it where it belongs, I'm never going to find it. Okay, so, oh wow, I think I got it. See, you really can't see it in its, see how it has that kind of magenta, like red violet, right? But it's leaning a little bit more towards the violet. So that's, so if you look at it here, it's super dark, but when you kind of spread it out, you can definitely see it has the colors I'm looking for, you know? So let's go ahead and wipe this. So now this color is a very strong color. And again, you know, I can't just dump this in there. So it's a mid-tone. So I'm going to go darker in value here. But I don't want to go too dark, because, but then again, if you find out you're too dark, it's just going to take you a couple of moments to go ahead and remix that one element. Here we go. So Mike says, well, I just came by to say hi. I got to go. Have a great night, Mr. Mike. Thank you so much for hanging out. We got to talk and have a telephone conversation maybe this weekend if you and Angela have some time. I would love to catch up, and there's something I want to send you guys. So, God bless, and Mike, you take care. I miss you, buddy. Just want you to know that. And we're just going to mix this here. And let's see how this goes. Wow, this is looking pretty close. See that? It's looking pretty darn close. Kind of liking it. Sometimes you get lucky, right? You know, that's the thing. Sometimes you get lucky. Or, I like to say, sometimes God blesses your efforts. I like that better. Okay, so I'm going to keep the light in that airbrush, and I'm going to put the dark in this one, right? Let's see. There we go. It might be a little too saturated. We don't know, but let's take a look. Dwayne says you use candies a lot in the layers of a painting, so I want a bleed check, but thin, so I can keep layering. Yes, I did the Jaguar with the candies, and it was a lot of fun. It's like working with the India inks. It's just great. Okay, so now I have this darker color, and so I've been having trouble with this airbrush. I need some parts for it. Haven't got any parts. Let's see, this airbrush is out of commission, but I don't have any choice. And see, I'm just putting in a little bit. It's a little oversaturated, but that's okay. I can always dull it later. I'd rather be oversaturated than undersaturated, right? So that's so important. Let me go ahead and get everything out of the way, right? That's one of the things. When I used to paint up until today, I had everything all in my way. So now I'm taking a couple of moments just to move everything away from me. And this way I could, you know, be more effective, hopefully. No, I haven't got the replacement nozzle. Hopefully soon, my friend. So I've been making do, you know. That's okay. It's important to make do with what you have. Creates character, right, guys? And let's see, we'll just put this here. I'm not trying to resolve the bench in one foul swoop, right? I'm just kind of working the lights and then the midtones. And then what I'm doing is I'm bringing the midtones into the lights. I mean the midtones into where the darks are going to be. So it'll fit together really nicely. And thanks, JC. I appreciate that, sir. And Astral says, so much space, Tim. You're a spaceman. You know, I've been called a spaceman once in my sports playing days. When I used to play baseball, they used to call me spaceman because I was so aggressive. You see, now I'm kind of this like mellow, easy guy. But when I played sports, man, it was, you know, different side of me came out. When I played football, I loved the idea of getting the chance to hit somebody. Legally, of course, you know, in the game. But that was like my favorite element. Being able to you know, just play the game with a lot of passion. Kind of how I handle my art, but it's just different, you know. I was beast mode, definitely. Astral says, I must be tuning into you. And Bradley says, oh, quinacridone magenta is my favorite color at the moment. Quinacridone magenta is amazing. That's my favorite color too at the moment, right? Uh, because this is great. So here's a little color theory. Red is not a primary color. You know, we're always taught that red, blue, and yellow are primaries. Now, red is definitely not a primary color because you can mix red by using quinacridone magenta and cadmium yellow light. If you mix those two, you'll get a powerful red, almost like a cadmium red medium. So, red, but you cannot mix a magenta, but you can mix red. So isn't that cool? And also, when you're looking for a red violet, if you try so you're looking for a violet, if you try mixing red and blue together, you'll get a kind of purple, but it'll be super dull. So that's really interesting. So I thought I'd share that with you. But if you mix magenta with cobalt blue, you're going to get the most amazing, vibrant violet you ever saw. And I think technically it'll be a red violet. So let me go to our picture so I can see what you all are seeing. There we go. And I think that looks pretty good as far as sound and picture quality are good, everyone. Now that we're almost an hour into it, I finally ask you, what do you guys think? It's pretty good? Get these magnets out of the way. And here we have just a sliver of the seats here, which is a little bit bizarre. But I'm going to paint it in anyway, because I'm a little bizarre. A little, you say? More like a lot. There we go. So you see I have a little bit of the purple there. And now we're going to hit the darker color. So that's going to be interesting. But since we have the light, let's see how the light, sometimes you'll get, oh, it's all good? Cool. JC was messing with me. That's pretty cool. Yeah, no, thank God that the sound is good. Everyone can hear me pretty good. I'm using the mic, not the expensive mic, but I'm using the mic on the webcam. But that seems to be working really well, so we're going to stick with that for now. Whoop. Little bit of a shaving here. There we go. Get that off of there. I'm going to lift this up just to see what we have now. It's always a good practice. And notice I'm never bringing my magnets, when I take them off, I'm not going to bring them back onto my metal panel. I'm just going to remove them, and then when I need them, I'll bring them back. And just, you know, it's good to have these like really super neat, efficient habits. I'm trying. We'll see how it goes. And, oh, cool. So that's good. All right, let's take a look, see what we have. Okay, so the edges are pretty good. There's a slight edge here, but everything looks pretty good thus far. What I'm going to do is come back in with the lighter color, and we're just going to maybe see if we're getting any kind of blue shift. One of the things I find out about purple, when I come lighter, it kind of gets a gray shift. I know that's weird. Every color has its own kind of effect with white. Purple gets gray. Yellow does really weird things with white, so you got to be careful with like pure yellow. There we go. And over here, Yeah, I think, well, let's tempt fate and try and do this without going through all of that rigmarole. There we go. Just indicating the seat. That's a little light, maybe because it's wet. There you go. This is the first layer. As you all know, we do lots in layers. Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. That's from Shrek. And JC says, hate having to leave you all. I may tune back later, getting the kids ready for bed. JC, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging out if I don't talk to you. And don't work too hard over at work, but happy painting. I love your artwork, and I can't wait to see the new stuff that you're doing. So that's cool. So thanks, JC, for hanging out. Really appreciate you and your time on a Wednesday night. And say hi to the kids and the missus for me. So I got lemon tea, just black tea with lemon. Came out pretty good. That's why I was a little late for the live stream. So now, dun dun dun, we're going with the darker color. And it's only in certain areas, and we're going to be working on that. And then maybe we'll work on the floor. So let's see if we can do that together. Like I said, the background, it's a lot of work, and we're just kind of laying in. Maybe the second hour we'll maybe do more paintbrush techniques, that would be great. So that's cool. And let's see. Astral says, we'll see you at the next resurrection, JC. A different JC. That's funny. And let's see. We'll just put you right there. Because we want to start coming in with the dark. And the dark's going to have some pretty nasty overspray. So we got to be careful of that. We don't want to get it on her legs or on her hands or her face. That would be tragic. So here we go. Now I'm taking my magnets from where I parked them. It's just super neat. Like, I don't even know who I am anymore. Take that away from her eyeball. So, everyone, you all know that sometimes a painting has its in-between moments, but they're so important, right? The moments where someone came in and looked at what you were doing, they're like, what's going on, But we as artists know that it's that, I don't like the whole idea of the ugly stage, but it's the stage of blocking in and before you refine and that sort of stuff. I need more little magnets. I don't have enough little magnets, and I don't like the big ones because they kind of cast a shadow. They do cast a shadow, and that's horrible. There's a method to our madness. So true, Astral, artists and non-artists alike who don't airbrush would look at what we're doing like, what in the world's going on with that guy? And so just covering her up, making sure. Okay, so now, so notice here, we have our light color, right? And we have our mid-tone. So now we have to hit that dark. Now, I'm not just going to take it for granted and say, okay, I'm just going to add, a darker shade of my mid-tone. It very well may be, but we have to make sure that it is, because there are color shifts when things go from your lightest lights to your darks, and that color shift could be slight, it could be non-existent, but it could be a huge color shift. So those are things that we definitely have to be mindful. It's a difference between an extremely successful painting and a so-so successful painting. Uh, oh, Brad says everyone in his studio thinks the airbrush is some sort of voodoo. It is because, you know, we're such a small. Oh, thanks, JC. JC said it's looking great. I appreciate that, sir. And so thank you for that. Yes, it really is. When I tell people that a portrait's done in ink and then they say, "Oh, how was that?" and I says I use airbrush with some paintbrush techniques, and they're like, "Airbrush? How in the world did that happen?" So I was like, "It's voodoo." You know, it's like that's the only answer, right? Maybe that's the right answer, Brad. Okay, so we have our. So now let's go back and we have to basically identify the dark. We don't get away with just making a darker version of our midtone. That would be too easy. So let's go here. It's a really beautiful dark color. And yes, so it's a violet, but it's going towards the blue, right? So we wouldn't get away with um, just making a darker version of our red violet, right? This is a blue violet. And let's see. Sort of the, like the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens. If Michael McGlung was here, he's a big Ravens fan, I'm sure. He's from the area. And okay, so this is a very dark color. So what we're going to do, I do have a blue violet mixed up. So this is a beautiful blue violet here. If I don't say so myself, and we're going to put that in here. So this is Wicked Blue Violet. And Dwayne says he doesn't even bother trying to explain airbrushing to people who don't do it anymore. That's funny. And Brad says, oh, okay. And Astral says he loves seeing the confused look on people's faces when I say I did my work in an airbrush. They always go, what? Yes. Like, what is that? Why? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, this is such a beautiful color, but it's such a dark, right? So we have to make sure that we want it intense dark, right? We have to do that. So I do have some Wicked Black here. You know, okay, so I've been working in illustration, I've been working in Wicked, and I have to say that illustration is not as fun to me as Wicked for some reason. I know it should be, it definitely should be, and I will be working in illustration, especially in this color method here. But there's something about the Wicked. Not that I'm going to be using the Wicked when I should be using illustration, but there's just something really fun about the Wicked paints. Especially now with what they're doing, what Createx is doing with the Wickeds, which is really great. So that's super dark, but I'm going to 4011 it just a little bit, but not too much because it already is 4011. And I'm going to add some of your friend and mine, Mr. Dwayne, 4050. Where's our 4050? If you were 4050, where would you be? Okay. Note to self, get some 4004. Put a good amount of 4050, give it some body. Now it's a very interesting color. That's all I have to say. It's a dark, but it has a high saturation. And we just may hate it, right? We don't know. We just may hate it. So let's see. It is kind of thick. So I'm going to take the airbrush where I had my medium, medium value, and I'm going to dump it into my medium value over here and make sure it doesn't drip all over. Yes. Okay. Now, let's get rid of some of the medium. Now, when you go from a lighter color to a darker color, it's not as drastic to do a heavy cleaning in between, because this dark is going to kick the butt of the mid-tone. Here goes nothing, folks. Now, one thing I will do is clean the cap, because the cap can really ruin your day. Mr. Ryan J, how's it going? All the way from Canada. How's everything, sir? So glad you're here. And yes, we did miss you, Ryan. I'm so glad you're back. And Mr. Astral says that he loves seeing the confused look on people's face when he said he did it in Airbrush. Yes, I did say that before. I mean, I did read Astral's comment before, but that's a funny one. You got to read that one twice. Okay, so I do have a little. See, this airbrush is so temperamental because of that nozzle, and I still don't have my nozzle, so I gotta live with this for now. Okay, so let's see. So we have this nice dark, and right by the bag. Oh, that's nice. This looks good, guys and girls. If there's any girls left here, ladies, girls. Beautiful dark. Loving it, everybody. Dwayne says he's been missing 4013 reducer some lately. Definitely dries quicker. Very interesting. 4013, huh? Okay. I think I have some 4013. I did see some 4013 here a while ago. Astral says, there was an echo coming back, Tim. So much space. Yeah, it's like, there's so much room. I feel like I'm in a warehouse. I'm at an Amazon fulfillment center. Okay, so I have this. And let's face it, I can't go without glasses. Who am I kidding? Okay, so we'll put this here. We'll get this hard edge. Perpendicular, not parallel. Blast from the past, right? Just getting this turn. There we go. And let's see. Get this color out of the way. So I don't have three airbrushes. If I did, I would have all three going and I would be working back and forth. So I do have the medium still in. No, I have the light because the medium I took out. See how that medium would have done really good if I had it? Let's see, go right down here. There we go. See that? How we're, and it's something that we are just setting up, and we're going to be working on that a little bit better as time goes by. There we go. Now we do have the light here. And we're just going to see if we could Now we don't want to hit the highlight because, you know, it's tempting, right? Let's get that highlight in. No, that comes later. We want to get the turning of the forms. And we just want to make it feel like it's turning. And the paintbrush techniques are going to make this even prettier. And let's see, over on this side, we have some really nice luminous lights here. And I like going over my darks with some light just to kind of create some unity with it, and I can always come back in later. Brad says, dang it, y'all, I have to get up early. Students expect me to show up at school. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Mr. Brad. Thanks for hanging out. We'll talk soon. And don't work too hard. And pretty soon summer vacation's coming up. I'm sure you're happy about that, sir. Just took a sip of some tea with lemon. Now, let's see. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm just going to assess this now, assess our painting. And it does look a little rough, but that's okay. That's no worry. So let's take this off and put these magnets back. Out of the way, right? We don't want our magnets in the way. We don't want things in our work area. And you see I have some paint over there. I have to fix that. And slow and steady wins the race. So don't think of how it's going to look. Just think of following the process, right? Following the process, getting everything looking, you know, where you want it to be. And once we do the ensemble, then we'll work on individual parts and slowly resolving them, you know, with more clarity and exactness. So here we are right now. At least she's sitting in some sort of environment, which is good. And there is, let's see, I'll make this smaller. And you can see just how darker we need to get with our values, right? Definitely have to get darker. But we'll get there slowly but surely. Now, there is a metal coming right over here, but maybe I could go ahead and do that. So let's see if I can mix that metal. It's going to have a lot of the same kind of purplish vibes to it. Let's see. Definitely. Actually, it has an orangey vibe. Isn't that something, huh? Really cool. There we go. And there we go. So we have our mixture. Let's mix that up. And it's funny because the color that I'm mixing, if I'm thinking about it, makes no sense, but it does work. So let's mix that color and let's believe the method and not our eyeballs. Okay, so got to get another cup. Running out of cups. You know, I bought 500 cups about 2 months ago, and I'm already running out. So that's just crazy. Let me go get some more cups. So I have to get cups and acetate. So those are the things that... So here are my cups. See how many cups I bought? A lot, right? So, Mr. Dave, how's it going? Thank you so much for the super chat. My friend, I appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship and your generosity. Thank you so much. How's life going? Are you in Kansas or are you traveling this week? Hopefully you're not Kansas, Oklahoma. Lawton, outside of Lawton, Oklahoma. Are you right now? Are you traveling or are you home? So that's cool. I still have to send you something, so that's something I'm sending you this week. I'm going to send you a little package. So be on the lookout, but I'll let you know when that's on its way, my friend. And thank you again for the super chat. Super generous and just super great to have you on the live stream and everything. So thank you. Oklahoma this week, here through May, then moving to Texas, just outside of Dallas. Is that correct? If I recollect correctly. So now we're going to mix our colors, right? So I am going to make this happen here. Let's see. So thank you, Dwayne, and thank you, Dave, tonight for the Super Chat stickers. Really, really appreciate it. What a great way to start May, huh? Hanging out with great people. And just the generosity is super cool. So I'm going to take a page out of Mr. Astral, and I'm going to be using some of my Wicked Black today. Staying away from, just, there's no real reason. I guess it's just to honor Mr. Astral. I'm going to be using the Wicked Black. It's on, if I can find it. Where did it go? Okay, here it is. Great. Oh, between Waco and Austin, a couple of hours south of Dallas. Yeah, Waco is that city that's famous for what happened, right? So let's see if I have the right gray. Black is super powerful, right? That's a super powerful color. So powerful, I have to come in with a little bit of gray. Let's see. Okay, this looks like I'm okay right now. And now comes our next color. Dun dun dun. All right, where is it? Here we go. So I'm kind of torn. I love how illustration colors work. They're erasable. They work with water. But I love the way Wicked colors mix. So think about that, right? So Wicked colors, they have their charm, and so does illustration. Now, when you find the fact that if you're mixing one color into another and one color is like super dominant, don't keep trying to, calm the super dominant color, right? That's just counterproductive. What you have to do is basically change your approach. Take the less dominant color and mix the dominant color slowly into your less dominant color. That's just logic. You don't need me to tell you that. But that takes me some time to find that out, right? That's for sure. They all have their place, Dwayne says. He uses illustration at times when doing a wall hanger painting. Great. Raoul says he uses both in the same piece a lot of time. Yeah, I'm finding that out. I'm kind of going along your game plan, right? Because they both have a beauty about them. So this is the color I'm actually looking at. I know it's kind of crazy, but this is what my system is telling me. Let's see. Maybe put a little more saturation in there, right? Let's go to the loony bin together. Let's see. I'm putting more saturation in it. I don't care. Whoa. I had a splash, but it hit my finger. So yeah, so I guess I'm in the same, in the right ballpark, right, guys? Okay, so I have this. So that means I have to get rid of this dark that I have and put this aside. Dwayne says, basically use what works for you and what you're trying to do. Great advice, definitely. Great advice. Like illustration for, portraits, on paper is great, right? It has great characteristics, but it doesn't mix as well as Wicked Paints do. Wicked Paints has almost an inky feeling to it. That's just me, right? I mean, that's my findings. So your findings might be different. Okay, so now we're going to come in with this color I told you about. And lots of luck. Let's see. Interesting. All right, so we got to cover her up. We don't want her to get all oversprayed. Let's get my working area kind of halfway neat, guys, right? Let's not be so messy. I always want to go back to Messy Tim. When I was a kid, they called me Messy Marvin. Remember the Nestle Quick commercials where he would make a mess? That was me. So Dwayne says, do not use reducers with the illustration color. Use water. Great advice, sir. Very good advice. A lot of people have said that. So, very cool. Thank you for that, sir. Now what I'm going to do, we're going to put this back because we want to protect our young lady. God save the queen. She's the queen of this painting. So we have to protect the queen at all costs. So what I do is I always say is I protect one side at a time. So I'll protect this side, and then when I go here, I'll just adjust it because things move. They move and groove and all that good stuff. Very cool. So I'm trying to use the low profile magnets. That's my thing. Because I don't want... But, I do have lights. I have studio lights going in each direction. But you're still going to have some kind of cast shadow. You can't get away from that. So I have 2 studio lights. And I also have a spotlight or a desk lamp. I have all color balanced lights that are daylight. So when I take my painting outside, it doesn't become purple. So that's important. Astral says, Dwayne, when he drinks water, he drinks water. And when he drinks whiskey, he drinks whiskey. And never the twain shall meet. I drink a lot of tea and lemonade. But I'm like really into limeade lately. I know, that's weird. Okay, so now what we're going to do is wow, Mr. Michael McGlung, thank you so much, sir, for the super chat. How are you? Mike, all the way from Maryland. So great to see you. I'm so glad you're here, Mike. Your package was sent out yesterday, and it should arrive tomorrow. But I want you to be very weary of, there's like a metal panel that may be sharp. So just be careful when you go into that, okay? So please be careful. And we're going to put this here. See how we can do this. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to remove this magnet for now. We're just going to worry on this area. Okay, so this color, this is the color that it says. So let's see how it works. Is this, nope, is it in here? Nope, that's our light purple. This is our color. And let's make this happen. So we have a little bit of the purple still in the front. Let me look at my reference. Remember the 1 second rule I always talk about? Well, I always have to practice what I preach. So this is kind of a warm orangey gray, right? But the thing is, when you put the colors around it, it works. So colors isolated is not going to work. Michael says, thank you. He's on painkillers, stubbed his toe trying to get the swelling to go down. So I probably will not be on here long. Oh man, feel better. Check if you can get an x-ray because it might be broken, but they can't do anything for broken toes, you know? That's the thing. So sorry you're not feeling well, my friend. That sucks. Raul says, Wicked has their transparent base 404. Illustration has their 5090. And he uses these to expand and make paints more transparent without losing adhesion. I do the same thing with oil paints. I use this stuff, if I can show you, with oils. It's Gamblin medium. It's same thing. It's transparent. Now all I have to do is find it. There it is. So I use this stuff right here. And it's the same thing with oils. So if I want to extend the color, make it a little more transparent without having the binder kind of dissipate on me, I use this. If I'm working with regular acrylics, I'll use a acrylic medium, and that extends it as well. So definitely you guys are right by doing that. Okay, so let's make sure we have a good even coverage here, and we'll lift this up. See that? So that's the bottom part, and I know it looks awful brown, but that's going to be resolved when the other colors are near it. Here, back here as well. Let's see. Put this here. Very great info here today. I think this leg is okay. But remember what I said. I'm going to make sure that I get this perfect. So we'll remove these temporarily. You know, an ounce of prevention goes a long way. You know, when I started this painting, I wanted to do something that was a little bit more than my comfort zone. So, you know, there's a lot of chrome in here, a lot of metal, and so I wanted to do that. You know, the other subway paintings I did, they didn't have as much metal, but this is a little bit of a challenge. There's some different colors, like the purple. I don't usually paint in purple and magentas as much as I should, and so that's where she is now. You can see we're starting with the environment. And Raul says, especially if you paint on surfaces other than paper, like ACM panels, definitely. I like working on paper, but that's me. I'm more of a traditionalist. I did get some Yupo paper. I will be exploring that, but I don't want to do much erasing or scratching. I was always taught try not to do things like that. Try and paint it out, right? So I'm going to stick to my, you know, my studies and kind of, I'll use erasing in an emergency, but for the most part, I am going to adhere to my classical background. Not necessarily right or wrong, it's just, you know, my my own set of artistic values, no pun intended. Dwayne says when he does wall hanging paintings, he uses aluminum. I did a couple of aluminum paintings with oils, and that was fantastic. And so, yeah, I mean, I can definitely. I did some aluminum paintings, and they were really nice. I painted years ago. I did a couple of paintings with urethanes on aluminum panel, and that was really good. Urethanes just they work really well, as you guys know. Okay, so now we have this. Now I'm going to just kind of put this here like so. And let's get ready to rumble. There we go. Nothing too crazy. And now there's a dark right underneath. And it's a super dark. It's not a purple. And we're going to put that in there. And we're going to make sure she's covered. And, and then just kind of working on this one area and saving the highlights for last, right? We're going to save that for last. I'm going to take a swig of my tea. There's only one swig left. We are almost in the 11 o'clock hour, which is great. Dwayne says he gets aluminum panel scraps for free. He has a friend who owns a sign shop. Wow, it's not what you know, it's who you know sometimes. That is great, my friend. I'm so glad you have that blessing. Okay, so let's figure out this dark underneath here. There's a dark underneath here, right? We're going to figure that out. And let's see. Okay, that's a super dark. That's almost black. Almost black, but not quite black. With just the tiniest little bit of cobalt blue. Let's make that happen here. Tiniest little bit of cobalt blue. Okay, it's mixing time. Let's go get my depleted bag of cups here. And so we didn't do any paintbrush techniques, but they are going. I thought I was going to do some today, but, kind of in this generalized, you don't want to do the paintbrush for the general areas. You want to save the paintbrush techniques for detail, right? So, we have such a great tool that gives us beautiful large gradations. Why would we want to use a paintbrush for the large areas? But for the small areas, it's really, really amazing. Okay, so new cup, and we're going with Wicked Black. Let's get ready to rumble. Okay, we got our Wicked Black. And yeah, so Raoul says he only paints ACM or Gesso MDS because of their stability at larger size. No need for framing. Saves on cost to the client. Wow, that's true. That's great, man. Okay, so cobalt blue. So we have some Wicked cobalt blue. I'm going to put that in there. Just a little bit, right? Cobalt blue is my go-to blue. There's a lot of blues out there, but if you're going by the color wheel, I go by the color wheel. So There's a lot of beautiful blues out there, but I am going to go with the blue that is going to be predictable and how you mix it. So that's something for you guys to think about. Make sure that your colors are predictable. If you're going with a phthalo blue or maybe a Prussian blue, they're going to act differently. And so when you mix a different color with, let's say, phthalo blue or ultramarine blue or cobalt blue or cerulean blue, you're going to get a whole different thing. So the whole thing goes back, and I'll give you guys little nuggets of color theory here. So you can see that, you know, this blue on the color wheel is cobalt blue. It's not ultramarine blue, it's not Prussian blue, it's not phthalo blue, it's ultramarine. I mean, it's cobalt. It's not cerulean, because if I put cerulean blue here, my blue-green's going to be totally messed up. If I put cobalt blue here, my blue violets are going to be messed up. And when I start doing, remember, you don't want to mix outside. You should only ever be mixing with your neighbor. You don't want to be mixing all the way over here. My color theory is going to be explaining that, but that's just a little bit of a hint there. You never need to be going blue and orange or green and violet. You just don't need to. This is where you should be going. Never across town, never. Something to think about. And believe me, that's going to give you all a really wonderful, it's going to give you a really nice uh, color theory, and it's going to keep your colors super saturated. So let's say you're mixing, just for instance, let's say you're mixing red, right? Now, red has yellow in it. So if you mix red with blue, you won't get a purple, because the yellow in the red is going to take your blue and make a gray. So it's going to be gray. So you see what happens when you kind of, but if you were to, let's say, mix a magenta, which is in between here, and mix your magenta with a violet or red violet, you're going to have so much more vibrancy. So try and keep your colors next to each other. It's a very different way of thinking, but believe me, I've done a lot of research on this. So I really can't give too much away, because it's going to be something that I'm charging for. Because it's something that I've been really working on for over 2 years now. And it works amazing for, I mean, it really works amazing for oils, and it works amazing for airbrush. So, but I'll always give you guys little hints here and there. Alright, so now we're going to be hitting this dark and bringing it over here. And let's see. I really feel that this, and I want to make sure I don't release it before it's time, because I think it's going to change the way we see color and the way that color is mixed. I really feel that this is going to be something that is going to be industry disruptor. So that's, I know I'm talking a big game. Make sure. So, you know, I'm always going to be a little paranoid, because I don't want to mess up. So maybe I should start on the dark, this side first, and then go there. And Raul, yes, I am still customizing the Extreme Patriot Arrow and Extreme Patriot 105, but I don't know how long I'll be doing it. I might not be doing it much longer. So, you know, not to say that there's any kind of, you know, rush or anything, but I don't see me doing it too much longer. Oh, Brad. Yes, Brad is a longtime student, so he's one of my control uh, group. And yeah, he's been really enjoying it. So I had a control group doing it for a long time at all levels. And so before I release it, so Raul says his dream is to get one. Yeah, you know, uh, definitely would love it if you had one. You'd really enjoy it with the amazing work you're doing. You would need that kind of control. And I mean, the control that I get, and I'm not just saying this, but my Extreme Patriot Arrow, you know, I have used the microns and enjoyed them, but I don't see the micron doing better than what this airbrush does, especially when you're really getting down there with the, let me make sure I have the right color. Nope, that's our light right here. So put it this way, even with a broken nozzle, I'm still able to get incredible detail. So the control you get, even when it's compromised. Hey Ryan, how's it going, my friend? Great to see you, sir. Very cool. So how's everything going all the way from Michigan? So glad you're here, sir. And let's move this aside. And as you can see we have this nice hard edge as it's going out. Now, we're going to soften that up, of course. But let me make sure I have the right color. So when you have more than one airbrush going, you really have to worry about grabbing the wrong one and putting it down. That's been there, done that. It's one of the great things about working in the Airbrush India inks, only. You're just dealing with one color. So you see I'm working on this side here. And that's not a black. That's a blue that, is influenced by black. And that's, so you want to keep every color saturated, right? Saturation is the key. And if you can get as much saturation in your color, that's what you're looking for. That's what's going to make your work vibrant. Whether you're working in oils and in acrylic and airbrush, you want to make sure that your main focus is the correct hue and also the correct saturation. Without those two things, it's just not going to be as effective for you. So we're just going to put this over here. Next week, I think we're going to do, work on the windows. I may go ahead and make a freehand stencil of the windows so I get that nice mechanical feel, but we'll see. Always options. So so you remember I went and made sure that this side was okay. So see how we're going? You see how she's starting to be in an environment, right? So that's good. She's not just floating in space. So now we have to come in with this dark and kind of blend it, and then we'll be set up to come in with the floor, right? So, and then next week or maybe during the week, I may attack this myself and start working on her environment. Once she's in her environment, then I'll have the right colors next to the edges, so I'll be able to gauge my colors even better. There has to be a game plan. There has to be a kind of a briefing with yourself, right? Okay, this is the briefing, this is how I'm going to handle it and why. And then go from there. And then when the painting's done, your painting session, then you debrief and say, okay, now where am I going to go? Like, what am I going to be doing? That's going to be crucial. So make sure that we do that. And let's see. Live streams are very difficult. And I'll tell you, because I was preparing for the live stream probably, with what I was briefing myself and doing some work on the painting, And so it is a lot of work. Not only just during the live stream, but setting up for the live stream. It's not easy. And that's okay. I love it, right? But it definitely is not easy. So every Wednesday I probably prepare, I would say at least preparation, at least 2 hours on my worst day. That would be my preparation. And what happens is that these magnets leave some messiness over here, and I'm going to clean that, of course. So we want to make sure that we're going to keep her looking cute. And oh, so here's our dark. So we kind of have to be strategic with this. So right here's our dark. Trying to get with the perspective, which is important. Okay, so one more. Bam. Okay, and one more here. Now this magnet here is really inconsequential. Like Dr. Evil says, the details of my life are quite inconsequential. I think that was from, that was the first Austin Powers, which I'm a big fan of. I should watch more comedies. We have to laugh more. Don't you guys agree? Guys and girls agree we have to laugh more? You know? I know I do. Art is a very serious thing, you know? Sometimes it kind of kills your sense of humor because we're trying so hard to get everything to look just so. Now this is a nice dark cobalt blue with black, and we're getting our dark. Ah, thanks Ryan. Definitely have to laugh more. Austin Powers is really good. All of them are just really fantastic. Yeah, baby. I love that. I think this is okay for now. Let's see. Let's see what we have. And we are at 11:11. I have some baby magnets in here under this, I'm sure. Put this over here and over here. Groovy, baby. Oh, yeah, that's right. Astral knows. There you go. So, okay, so you see something's happening. Don't know. No, something's happening. Good stuff is happening. So this is good. And we'll put this over here. And, okay, there's some weird thing over here. Okay, so that is pretty good. So we have a nice start here, and we can kind of go in freehand a little bit here. Just kind of cover up her calf. There we go. Kind of bring this down. And Dave gives a thumbs up for Austin Powers, which is good. We have a dark here. I'm going to apply this dark here as the bench kind of turns. Now back here I'm gonna do it without using the protection. So I'm going to go ahead and put the protection back on her. You know, we're keeping her nice and clean, and that's so important, right? Uh, because, you know, if we didn't, she would have all this like blue and purple on her. And when we were going to work on her, it would definitely cause some problems with our mixing. So that's very good. Okay. See, we're worrying about this side right now. This side doesn't quite match, but that's okay. We're just worrying about her calf and her boot and her dress on this side. That's all we're worrying about. Well, not even so the boot, because the boot is not being affected by this area. So we could limit what's being affected. Okay, so let's go ahead put some magnets here. And it's okay to be like super diligent here, because the stakes are making a painting that's nice. Mike S says, Tim is right. We should always use protection. That is so true. That's what they always told us in high school. And I remember in Austin Powers when Elizabeth Hurley goes, her character goes, have you used protection? He's like, I have my automatic, you know, my 44 automatic or whatever gun he had. And she's like, that's not the protection. Because he was from the 60s, man. And that was all free love and everything. Especially in a subway, that's for sure. Yes, for this young lady. So now I have this, and I'm going to come in and so now I have to make sure I have my reference in front of me. Don't never take for granted that, you know, you remember what everything goes and everything. Put this here. Gonna have some nice paintbrush techniques. Now we're paying our dues with the airbrush techniques. Then we'll be able to get some beautiful details when ready. And now you can see it's kind of looking like a bench, right? Perfect. Okay. Well, not perfect, but pretty good. Oh, let's see. Come over here. And Astral says, baseball, cold showers, baseball. Margaret Thatcher on a cold... That's right, with the fembots. You know, you gotta have some sort of strategy when you're being approached by fembots. I love that movie. Okay, so now we're going to work on this side here. I can do some freehand over here, so I'm not worried. So you all see like where I'm going with this, right? You all see like, okay, you know, you kind of starting to see my philosophy here of just kind of creating her environment, you know. So I hope this was a good live stream that, you know, you guys are inspired a little bit to work on your own stuff. If you have any questions, always feel free. I'm always happy to answer any questions. That's my thing. Always happy to answer questions. So I can't believe Dave's moving to Texas. Is that going to be expensive, or is your job helping you with that, sir? So I know moving from one state, friends of ours moved from New Jersey to Wisconsin, friend of mine, and it was quite expensive. Is it expensive for you, Dave? It's great when you're doing it for work because they pay for it, and that's great because you're saving like 10 grand. That's if you do it on the cheap. Okay, so now we have her leg on that contour protected, which is very, very good. So we're at 11:19. We're in the home stretch of our live stream, so very cool. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me on this Wednesday. So here is, yep, goes right here. Oh, so I see what I have to do. I need like a little post-it note. We'll do the post-it for, yes. Makes sense. Okay, that looks good. And then we'll come across here, like so. And we'll get our airbrush. I just need like a third hand. Here we go. And there we go. Not too bad. And then we can do a little freehand. See that little bit of a... Now, see how that's giving us a nice feel, you know? I mean, who says it has to be perfect? It doesn't. So now, instead I have this dark color, I'm going to use it for some of the cast shadows of her bag and her body onto the seat. Now I'm going to worry about this background, I mean this contour. So keep moving back and forth, right guys? And 10 grand, I would leave everything behind. You know what it is? Everything is just so expensive now. It's just crazy. It's just so terrible. Everything has gone up. And it's just, I hope things get better financially for the whole planet. I've never seen anything like this. It's like everything's out of control. Like a used car was literally twice as much as it was, let's say, 6 years ago. Okay, so we're going to worry about our contour here, back here. And my cat got me here, so look at that. That's what my cat's been doing to me. She's been playful lately, so I've been playing with her and carrying her, and then when she jumps off, she scratches me. So that doesn't look good. My hand's all beat up. Okay, right in here. All right, so now this is our our strategy. So this is great. I'm learning more about this software, that split cam. I'm able to see my reference material, move where you guys are, still answer questions. Oh, Bobby says change is at the voting box. Very true, my friend. Very true. And Just the face part, Mike S says. And Mike S says, yeah, Tim says here, it doesn't have to be perfect, but then spend 6 months on a portrait. True, yeah, that's it. We're so harder on ourselves, right, Mike, than we're ever hard on anyone else. Now this is, see, I picked up the wrong airbrush. That's kind of a caveat when you're working with multiple airbrushes. I had so much fun hanging out with you all today. I just want to say thank you before the live stream ends. What an honor it is to hang out with you all and learn from everybody. And I do learn from yous, that's for sure. But you see how I mixed these colors? I didn't just say, I'm just going to do a light, medium, dark, tint of it. I actually was looking for the correct hue. So, don't let yourself off the hook. And, you keep your colors as saturated as possible. It's very important. Really loving how this is shaping up. And that's all we did. We basically worked on where she was sitting. But it's such an important because it's connected to her. So if your model, your main character is sitting on a rock, that rock better be painted really well. If she's sitting on a bench, that bench better be really good because it's part of her, you know. And Astral says, I know where all the skeletons are. Skeletons are important. We'll just move this over here. And we're going to check and make sure we're okay on that contour, right? Because as you paint, you change things and move it around. So you have to protect your contour. Remember, God save the queen. She's our queen right now. So we have to protect her at all costs. She is definitely our queen. Let's see. See, don't let it, how do I say, don't get complacent with this. Make sure that you get those contours perfect. We work so hard to do the line drawing and make these freehand stencils and then screw up and have to fix overspray. I did that with her hand a little bit, and I'm so mad at myself because it wasn't necessary. But that's what you have to. You have to have the mistake so you can learn from it and say, okay, I won't do that again. Also, those of you who play chess out there, do you ever see players who lose their queen and then they automatically give up? My thing is, if you lose your queen, play through it because it's going to make you a better player. It's going to teach you how to utilize other pieces, and it's going to teach you never to do it again. And that's where I am right now, So, I did mess up there, so now I'm so much more diligent here, and I will be more diligent in the future. So those are things that we really have to be mindful of. Okay, so I have this little bit of dark here. And I'm just going to see how I'm just giving some volume to that. And of course we're going to revisit this, right? So it's not like this is one and done. Putting a dark accent right there. And so I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. It's still early, but we have, a really nice beginning here. And we have to be pleased. And I practice what I teach. No, practice what I teach or practice what I preach is that you have to be easy on yourself, right? So I'm going to clean up and remove this now, and we'll just kind of debrief what we did and why, and some of the things that were actually very efficient, some things that were kind of rough. Brad says, after 6 months on a painting, no one can argue with the spectacular results. Very true, right? You know, working hard on a painting, it doesn't really matter how long. I think it was 10 years. Now, it might be true or not. I think it was like 10 years for the Sistine Chapel to be completed. That's like 1/7 of a lifespan. But we try to get quicker, you know, and that's true. Uh, so Mike says, so true, Brad, so that's cool. Unless it's Brad, so Brad definitely takes his time, and it's worth it, you know. It's not the time, it's the destination, right? It's not the time to get there, it's the destination. So right here, here's where we are. And one of the things we needed to work on was the three-dimensional quality. So when we began, remember we began with our lavender color, right? So that was our lightest light, but not our highlights. Remember, we're going to do our highlights later. So we went ahead and basically put the lights everywhere. And then our next thing was to come in with the midtones. And the midtones are actually had a different hue to it. So the main color was a little bit darker, a little bit more red than this color. And so that was our midtone. So once we had our midtone down, then we decided that we're going to work on this, which was actually an orangey color. And that's going to really come up when we hit the lights, right? So the lights are really going to reveal that to be the correct color. It's not the color itself, it's what's around it that defines it many times. And then at the very end, we had our dark purple, which basically came right over here and over here. Actually, it was a dark cobalt blue. So that's, and then we also used that dark cobalt blue over here and kind of created our shape. So when I'm working in oils, what I like to do is I like to work in my Dree values and mix them. And so when I'm working on her leg, I would have the dark, the medium, and the light, and I would just slowly turn the form, going in different areas and moving around. It's a new way of working, but I'm really liking it. Mr. Dwayne says he would lose it in my studio long before 6 months. Lose the painting or just lose it? And Astral says, Pope to Michelangelo, is it finished yet? Right, and he would always, I think in the movie The Agony and the Ecstasy with Charlton Heston playing Michelangelo, and was it Mel Ferrar? No, not Mel Ferrar. William Holden might have been playing the Pope. And the Pope kept saying, when will this be done? Or when will there be an end? And Michelangelo kept saying, when it's finished. And, oh, lose the painting. That's pretty funny. Yes, but it's so important to stick with it regardless of how long it takes. And it looks like we didn't do much today, but it's such an important part of the painting. And you could see that the color is right on, right? It's right on the money. And that's just careful planning and mixing. And then we're just going to build on it and keep building on the floor. And then once we have a good semblance of the background, then I could feel comfortable with how the color is next to the background, you know? And Mike S. says he was just pointing out how Tim says one thing sometimes but spends a crap load of time making it. Yeah, you know, it's every painting is like a person, right? Some people are just easygoing. Some people, you know, you have to work with. Some people, you know, might be easy in one way and difficult in another. And I find every painting is sort of like that. And that's where this painting is, right? She's she has her own kind of personality. And so my thing is trying to get to where we work together to create a piece of artwork, right? And oh, look at that. Raul says hit the like button for Tim. I appreciate that, everybody. So it is 11:33. I gave 3 extra minutes. Thank you so much, Mr. Dwayne, for the super chat. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael McGlung, for the super chat. And thank you so much for Mr. Dave Gregory from Oklahoma. Always a pleasure. Soon to be Texas. So good luck with the move. And so we'll definitely. Oh, and I'll be sending you out something shortly. And so thanks everybody for hanging out. I really appreciate you spending your Wednesday with me. Thank God for everything. Thank God for the lights and the ability to do this live stream. Thank you for my health and for your health out there. And I hope you have a great, great night. And hopefully I'll talk to you all during the weekend. Bye, guys.